We start with the first speaker today. I call upon my friend Dr. Aparna Buleru as first speaker for today's workshop. Let me give you a small introduction. She has done BSc and MSc in computer science from Sussex University, UK. After that, she done MA in English literature from Cambridge University, UK, and then PhD in child psychology from Essex University, UK. She has different she had different kind of studies during her education as a graduate level, in graduate level, PG level, and PhD level. To mention few awards which she got, she is UK Queen's Awardee, which is very prestigious European award, and perhaps she was first Asian originally. Now she is Italian citizen. She got this award. Then she got European Union's Joint Research Commission Award also, and she is awardee from European Business Award and MSME Award, etc. She has a big biodata and big profile to share. And with this, she is a founder and CEO of My School Italy, and she is from Bari, Italy. And today, her topic for discussion will be opportunities and collaboration with Italy, student exchange programs, and popular tourist destinations in Italy. Through this topic, she will try to discuss various things. And recently, we got an invitation also from her organization to visit her country with a group of 50 people, some of students, teachers, principals, and we are very thankful that she has spared her time today for this international workshop. All right, then, Dr. Aparna, it's for you now. Next 15 minutes, and after that, 2-3 minutes for question and answer session also. Dr. Aparna.
Thank you, Dr. Brijesh. Thank you all. And it's my pleasure and it's an honor to be here today, speaking to you all and participating in this international conference. And as Mr. Pramod Chauhan was just saying, this is a very, very good conference. It's talking about resilience. It's talking about innovations and so many participants. It's really overwhelming to be here. I would start this topic, and it's a very nice topic. Actually, this topic was chosen by Dr. Chauhan for me. I had no choice in choosing my topic. So, but it's very interesting because I would like to start this conference, this saying that, you know, in the European continent, Italy is the only country with the highest Indian population. And actually, this is something new to me as well, which I discovered today morning when my team said, this is what Italy has the highest Indian population, because I always thought it was United Kingdom, because we always see a lot of Indians in United Kingdom. And that makes Italy very popular for Indians. So if Italy is one of the destinations for most of us, then I should be really appreciating Dr. Chauhan for choosing this topic for me. And I'll be covering, as he said, about the collaboration for our students, collaboration for our businessmen. And then I'll be taking you through a bit of food, Italian food, and how we are part of Italian food and how our cuisine is very similar to the Italian cuisine. And I'll also be talking about some herbal medicines that Italy and India share the common platform. And then I'll also talk about, studying and cultural exchange. So I'll start my topic with some similarities that we share. So being a woman, I'll talk about the kitchen first. So Italian cuisine is very similar to Indian cuisine. We use a lot of spices just like Indian cuisine, but the Italian spices are not very tikka. That's the only difference. Otherwise, we have a lot of spices in the Indian cuisine, and the tomatoes play a major role in our cuisine. And just like rice and chapati, we always have pasta, which is again, the base is the grain. That's the wheat or the rice. So coming from that kind of a cuisine, why do we have so many spices in Italian cuisine and in Indian cuisine? That's because most of our spices have a herbal value, have a medicinal value to our health. And during this time of pandemic, I think these are the spices that have helped most of us keeping healthy all through. So Ayurveda has been all-time favorite alternative medicine, and it is going to be always an all-time favorite alternate medicine. And Italy also, just like India, shares this. In India, we call it Ayurveda. In Italy, we call it Herboristeria. So if you walk through the Italian streets, any city, any town, any village, you will always find more herboristeria, that is the Ayurvedic shops, than the doctor's clinics. So that means, and in these herboristeria, they have this fancy for all Ayurvedic stuff. So over the years, I've been seeing that a lot of Ayurvedic products from India are being exported to Italy. So, and also from Italy, a lot of Ayurvedic, which we call herboristeria. Herbo means herb, so herbal medicines. So a lot of herbal medicines are being imported from Italy as well. There are a lot of good brands in India, like I don't want to name any because I don't want to promote any one brand. But then a lot of brands from Italy also have been coming to India, and from India are being sold in Italy. So there is a lot of exchange in these products. And I would like to, I was talking and I started this because I'm really thankful to Dr. Brijesh, because he's been doing this herbal cultivation in Himachal Pradesh, which is really very interesting, and which is the need of the hour as well, because alternate medicines always, though I come from a allopathic medical doctor's family, but I'm talking about alternative medicines because to a lot of extent, always herbal medicines help, and they are the natural way to cure through your food, to your regular intake, through what we call in Hindi kada, and in Italian we call tisana. So just like Indians are very experts in making kadas out of everything. Italians are very famous for tisanas. So we make tisana out of everything, out of flowers, out of grass, out of herbs, out of fenugreek, out of everything. So tisana and kada, they're just, it's just the language that's different, but the content is the same. So from the grandmother's recipes, we have these kadas and tisanas coming also in Italy. And then coming to the trade. Italian companies excel in a lot of machines and automotives, fashion, food processing, and Indian companies, while they are equally making a mark in Italy in the sectors such as steel and information. So information and steel technology and the raw material. So when I say steel, the raw material, of course, it is iron ore and everything else, and processed iron ore. And when I talk about information, I mean our brains. So our students from various colleges, our experts, our IT experts, they are making a very good headway in Italy. So this is something that as students, as professors, as teachers, you should promote information, which is information science, because Italy is really in need of very good IT professionals. So that's about just a small bit of exchange. And then we are now also promoting a lot of food processing units in India. And India is a big source for Italy for this. And the Indo-Italian bilateral trade relations regarding food processing units and food products and agro-based and farm-based products is very eye-catchy in India. And for this, actually, already this process, the Indo-Italian Chamber of Commerce had started in 2011 by introducing something called Indo-Italian Agri-Food Technology Center. And this center started in 2011, and 2019 it made a very good progress. And 2020, of course, we have to minus this year in our lives due to really no growth, no, like, I don't know for others, but as an educationist, for my business, it's been really very harmful. All our schools are shut down for the whole year, and we're getting into the next year, which schools shut. So, but I think for the food business, this has been a good business. There was nothing that was not that bad, I guess. And especially for canning industry, this was very good because canned food has been really going up this year. So I was talking about, again, regarding coming back to the orchards in India. So Italians have come up with something called Il Frutto. This is a project that has come up in India, and you can get a lot of information. I'm just covering small things because I have just 15 minutes and I have to cover a lot of things. So I'll just run through the thing. But anyone who's interested in more about anything, whether it's food or education or technology or tourism, please, you can get back to Dr. Brijesh and he will pass on your message to us. So I was just again coming back to Il Frutto. This is the project that was launched by the Indo-Italian Chamber of Commerce. And in this, they are teaching Indians how to do the soil preparation for a lot of horticulture products like apples and grafting of apples and things like this, and the various plant varieties, plant protection and plant maintenance techniques, post-harvest collection and storage systems, technologies for processing and packaging, and then develop a lot of Indian universities and research centers for the Italian horticulture products and other food products. So I think you can also go on actually, I will like you to just give you the website for those who are interested in horticulture, because Dr. Brijesh was asking me to talk about this. So I'm very much stressing on this point that, about horticulture, because in Shimla, I guess in Himachal Pradesh, you have the best of the apples, and grafting and all is done by the Italian companies and it's coming from Italy. So I'm just giving you, this is the website that I came across, that is www.ii, that is India AF, that is Alpha Foxtrot T Tango C Charlie.com. I repeat, www.iiaftc.com. So the interested people can go onto that website and check out for more details on this project Il Frutto. That's the project name for India by the Italians for India. And it's done through the Indo-Italian Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so that's about that. Now coming back to the education, which is a heart and soul of my business and my profession. So there is a lot of student exchange program between India and Italy, especially a lot of Indian students are getting 100% scholarship and study in Italy. And the major Indian students are going, a lot of Indian students are going to major industries, major universities are Politecnico. And each state in Italy, we don't have states, we have regions. So each state on each city of Politecnico, we have a lot of students going. These are engineering and architecture students. And this is free education, free master's degree, PhD degree, and also for bachelor's degree. So students can apply for these Politecnico di Bari, Politecnico di Milano, di Roma, di Padua. There are a lot of Politecnicos. So you can get, again, a lot of information, and I can be helpful for that. Just get back to Dr. Brijesh about it in case you are interested. And then coming back to medicine. Again, of late, Italy, since last few years, Italy has been conducting its medical entrance test in India for Indian students. There are some seats reserved for Indian students, and the test is held somewhere in March in Delhi. So this also can be, you can also get a lot of information about this. This is a free seat in Italy for medical students with 100% scholarship. And when I say 100% scholarship, is not the educational scholarship only, but it is complete boarding, lodging, and everything. So that's something very exciting for Indian students, because it's easier to get into the Italian medical university than to get a free seat in Indian medical college. So that would be interesting, and that would be like, I'm sure that students would be interested for that. And another sector that Italy has been capturing a lot of Indian students is from the fashion technology. So the Milan and Rome Fashion Technology Institutes have some free scholarship, like free seats and scholarship seats and paid seats for all fashion related programs. And students can be also aspiring for that, those who are interested in this. And it's easier and simpler, and yeah, easier and simpler to get seat in fashion technology institutes in Italy than probably in NIFT in India. So when I say it's easier, because the population of Italy is very, very less compared to the population of India. So when you compete with just little population, you have more chances of getting into the universities. That's about that. And then I would like to, before I just talk about just Italy and tourism, that's another big sector that Italy always has, over the centuries, has attracted humanity for its tourism, for its not only just the monuments, but also for its landscapes, for its food, for its culture. And the culture in Italy, from every town to every town, is different. The monuments are different. The how do you say, the architecture is different. So it's really Italy is one of the very interesting places, and it's also very interesting and happening place for Indian Bollywood, because most of we see a lot of Indian industry people film industry people coming to Italy for shooting and things like this. And also because we are also into, as Ritsi, we are also into the film facility management. So we get to know always a lot of people coming in. So if I would like to show you a small video about Italy, but there is they say that there is no one Italian who doesn't know this song. Probably this song is just like our Raj Kapoor's song Mera Juta Hai Japani Salmet Lal Topi Rusi, something like that. So I think like that's some song that every Indian from this generation, from the last generations, and I'm sure that coming generations would always sing and always know, even if not the full song, but definitely it's song that that made Indians popular abroad, Indians popular in Russia. And I think there is no one Russian who doesn't know this song. So like that, we also have one song in Italian, and it's called Volare. So this is one song that anyone who has studied Italian or visited Italy, or there's no one Italian who doesn't know this song. So with the background of this song, I'm just taking you on a short tour of 3 minutes to see Italy and its monuments and its tourism. And then I'll talk about it. Just give me a moment, please. So this is Milan. And this is the auditorium in Milan. I hope all are able to see.
Yes, everyone.
Thank you.
It's okay.
And now we come to Venice. Sorry, this is not Venice. This is Como, and this is the lake, Lago di Como. So the lake comes from Switzerland and ends in Italy. And this is Venice. And that kind of a boat is called gondola. Can you increase the volume? So this is South Italy. This is again Venice. This is Pisa, the falling tower, this leaning tower of Pisa. And this is also, this is Verona. Now this is Rome. And if you throw a coin in this fountain, they say it brings you luck. So that's Fountain of Trevi. This is the place where I come from, Bari. So welcome to the pizza world. This is Polignano di Mare. It's a UNESCO heritage site. This is Alberobello with 5,000 years old houses. Stop the screen. So that was a little short break from speaking all the time. So you see, Italy is diverse. We have the mountains, just like, and actually I started my talk saying the similarity between Italy and India. And just like India, we have the mountains, we have the Himalayas in India, and we have the Alps in Italy. So, and then we have down south in India, the sea, the Indian Ocean, and we have the Mediterranean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. So, you know, it's all like we have the sea, the mountains. So the culture, everything changes from north to south. So I see that most of you are in Himachal Pradesh. So I can see all of you with jackets and caps, and I guess that, you know, like you don't have the heating systems as we have in Italy. So everyone is covered, and I can see someone under the blanket as well. So, you know, it's so interesting to see that way. And then while in Italy, at least, whether it's summer or winter, we have the heatings and we have the ACs and everything is centralized. So that's one small difference. But coming to the culture, the landscape, everything changes from North Italy to South Italy. So the North Italy is all about lakes, how do you say, sweetwater fish, and the mountains and skiing, just like north of India. And when you come down to south of Italy, it is all about beautiful beaches and seafood and good food all through the year, warm climatic conditions, and above all, laziness. So the South Italians are lazier than the North Italians. And that makes us actually in South also nice, because since we are lazy, we want to work little time. So we do work on time. and we don't drag it for long hours. So we just see that how quickly can we finish our work so that during the summer we can run to the beaches, and also during the winters we like to run on the baywards and things like this across the beach. So we can't go swimming, but at least take a walk or a run.
All right, Dr. Aparna, let's have 2-3 small questions, and I think we will give you again one session in during later on during the international conference session. It was very interesting talk. Anyone who want to ask question, please ask.
Yes,
otherwise, we are organizing one trip after this COVID issue to Italy, and we will visit Dr. Aparna's house in Italy and her business centers and many places.
Yes, especially the universities. You should visit the Italian universities.
Italian University and Sardinia also in
which is blue zone. Yeah, Sardinia is a very beautiful island. Yes, please. Okay. I'll wait for the questions.
Okay. Any question?
I think, Ms. Yojana, you have to unmute yourself. Probably you're trying to speak. No, you have to unmute yourself, Ms. Yojana.
Yojana ji, unmute karen aap apna phone.
Yes, sir. No, thank you so much. I was trying to unmute myself, sir, but I needed the host permission from that, from there, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Very good evening. I'm Yojana from a very small place called as Rampur Bushehr in Himachal Pradesh, though an upcoming town, I should tell you this. Ma'am, there is a very, very small, I think, question, I guess. What, according to your opinion, we as Indians need to learn from Italians, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am.
Very good question. I think one thing should be specialization. In whatever we do, I think we should be very precise and very specialized. Instead of being master of all, it's better to be, master of one. And Italians specialize in that. Whatever they do it meticulously, they do it precisely. A glass is always a glass, and a clean glass is always a clean glass. So, right from there to, that's why they are into mechanization, automatization. And I think professors like Dr. Brijesh should implement these things in colleges and universities. That kind of a very, very narrow, not narrow, but precise, as we used to have Arjun ne aankh koi machli ke aankh ko dekha, that we should continue to have from our ancient tradition.
Okay. One more question, then next speaker is ready. One more question. Anyone?
Yes. Yeah, can I ask, please?
Yes. All right, sir.
It was a good talk, really. And you show beautiful pictures of Italy, and that's good. And I just want to ask just one question. That is, what is one basic difference between the education system of India and Italy? Please.
Thank you, sir. So the basic difference between the Indian education system and the Italian education system is that we are, in India, we are very good and we have very good higher education system. While our basic foundation stage education is not regular, it's not standardized, and it's really pathetic, actually, to put it in words, because we have our Anganwadis which waste all the time of the children at the most learning age. And that, I think, Anganwadi should come into it should not only be the food center or care center, but also education. And education just doesn't mean reading and writing, which Italy takes care right from 6 months. The child is just 6 months, and the education of the child starts from the 6th month. So it's not about literacy and education. These are two different things, and we should see it as two different things. And the new education policy, I think, is taking care, at least in us.
Yes, this is being looked after, and the new education.
I'm very glad and very happy about it, actually. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Can I
Many,
take
I think many other people also want to ask questions, but let's, Dr. Aparna, if you will be available in the last few minutes, we can connect you again. Thank you very much. Now, next, right, Dr. Aparna?
Yes,
Next,
thank you.
our next
Thank you
speaker
very
is.
much, everyone.
Okay. Thank you very much.